Okay, today we're going to focus on fixing a faulty magazine in an 880. Now with my favorite 880 that's custom made, I just had one part and I built the gun around it. The valve body assembly was faulty on this one, meaning the magazine wasn't working. I couldn't get any BBs into the breech or lead balls. And when I decided I definitely wanted to use lead balls because they're a lot of fun, they don't conflict with shooting pellets, and they're great for cleanup shots after an initial hunt, meaning the first shots with a pellet. Okay, and so it wasn't loading at all. So we're going to go ahead and demonstrate on a 35, which is nearly identical on the key components. Okay, so you start by taking off the receivers. Okay, and be careful when you're taking this off on the 880 or this, not to push on that safety. It'll go flying on you. I kept it out for this video, but make sure you grab it by the back. All right. Okay, so now, so what we have here, let's get up tight. We have the valve body, which is die-cast metal. And so the BB comes through here. The BB comes through your loading gate, around and through there. And so let me turn it over to the other angle. So that side was faulty. This side right here, there's a corner your BB turns and it gets onto your magnet and then loads into your breech. It was faulty and nothing could get through there. So see, there it is. There's a better look at the door there. You have a loading gate and then a loading ramp we're going to get to. Okay, so now here is the receiver. And what you see here, let's go ahead and get a light on that. So you have a slight ramp that goes up into like a skateboard ramp. So there's two ramps it climbs onto, and then you have one right there, and that slides down there, rides onto your magnet. So I can go ahead and put it on there so you can see it. So when you cock your gun and your magazine is working, it rides that ramp and then onto your magnet. But anyway, it's right there. So there's two ramps. One in front that it initially gets on, and then it gets up onto that, like I said, a skateboard ramp on the back there. Okay, so that was okay on this. That wasn't faulty, and I wasn't willing to try to sand or tamper with that and mess with the plastic. Okay, so what I did, I took a small metal file, and it looks like this. This is a good one. Three-sided small metal file. And make sure to keep the end and the free part of that up in the sky there. You coming from this side, and you gently do 2 or 3 strokes, long, gentle strokes. And remember, that's a hard file on zinc die cast. And then you use a magnifier to check your work. And so the whole idea with that is to get this part here. Let's see if we can zoom in and get a nice, okay, there we go. And so the whole idea, there we go, is to get that part rounded. Now, as you see in that zoom in there, you see that it slightly turns, but mine was really rough on this side, so I had to smoothen out that turn so the BB could get through. And I also had to slightly, okay, just like I would show here, just slightly open up the door just a little bit. But most of the time when you're going to be like this, and you're going to do 2 or 3 easy strokes and then check with your magnifier. Okay, and now how do you avoid a lot of trouble? Now that looks pretty easy so far. I want to make sure you avoid some of the bullets I just missed. Okay, so let's talk about this. You have these plastic receivers. And what you need to know is you don't want to keep taking it apart if you're not getting it quite right and the BB's not getting through there still. You don't want to keep taking this apart, because what you have here is plastic. And you don't hurt the screws doing it, but you could strip or damage the plastic. And the big one, the big one, is stripping the screws in the stock. If you see here on this working model, you strip the plastic in the stock. So you don't want to damage the receivers and the plastic back there. Okay, so the trick is, I'm going to go ahead and show you. You just take, once you do your filing and you feel like you want to test it, you take your left receiver, which would be a little bit easier on the 880. This one has to lock on there. There you go. And snap it on there. Make sure your stock stays on there. Snap it flush. Okay. With the Daisy 35, it's not as important because you have the pump that locks on there. The 880, you're going to make sure it's flush and flush to your stock. But okay, so then you have the loading gate, and then you have that what I call a loading ramp. And so you put it in here. Let's see, find a decent zoom angle for you on this one. There, that looks good. You test it by putting in a BB. You put it in a BB, and then it rolls back. And see, it rolled out. Now, what I had happen is this. All right, hold on. Let me. Okay, there we go. Okay, perfect. Okay, so what happened is I kept getting it jammed, just like what you see there with lead balls, because I wanted lead balls. And a quick note I have to make, that's a marksman. That's about 176. That's pretty big. The lead balls are even bigger because they lock your rifling. And so that kept being just like that, get stuck in that door. And when you see that, and when you do this, it doesn't come out like that marksman did. If you see it just stuck in your door like that, then you keep filing. And how do you do that? You come back, you just take off the left side and go back to your filing. Okay, so you go back and make sure you keep the point of that up in the air so you don't file anything you don't want. And you just keep going and you keep testing. And that's how you do it. And then eventually it will be just like I just showed there. It will be where you put it in. I'm going to go ahead. And it'll be just like that. And it'll come right out just like that. Perfect. Okay. So, all right. So that worked out for me. Now my gun is shooting lead balls beautifully. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Okay. So I have 60 lead balls in there. I cock this back. Hold on. Let's see. There we go. I cock this back. And the lead ball comes forward. All right. Well, there we go. One's right there. And if I want to load it, I can. Or I bring it back and put it back in the magazine. You couldn't really see that, but I was able to put that back into the magazine. Here's another lead ball. Put it back in there. So yeah, so the nice thing about the lead ball is it doesn't jump to your magazine, so you can, or jump to the magnet that is, so you can use pellets, and you actually have to work to use your lead balls. You have to tip it up, and then bring it forward. There we go. And see, there it is right there. And then when you, in this case, I'm able just to tip it back, put it back in the magazine, which is very cool because you can do that with lead balls. Okay, so this is functional and fully working, and I'm not getting any more jams, and I'm not only shooting BBs, I actually just want to shoot lead balls because it doesn't hurt the rifling of the 880. Whereas if you had a malfunction like that on the Stasi 35, you actually are going to be trying to set up to shoot BBs like that marksman. And then that's what your goal is there, so that your loading ramp will load BBs. Okay, well, thank you, and that's how this is taken care of.